Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Sunshine Coast Stadium for this Round 1 2015 PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland match between the home side, the Sunshine Coast Fire, and Brisbane City. You can see the two teams have entered onto the park here at Sunshine Coast Stadium. Let's take you through the team lineups for this afternoon. For the Sunshine Coast Fire, in goal will be number 1, Dale Hill, 2, Tim Hollingworth, 3, Takumi Kinoshita, 4, Jonathan Laddick, 5, Ray Schultz, 6, Reese Roberts, 7, Reese Kelly, 8, Grant the Chastel, 10, Kenya Takahashi, 13, Kane Frew, 18, Brady Cronk. The reserves this afternoon are number 9, Jacob Fullick, 14, Timmy Adjedbola, 20, Damien Cox, 16, Jared Moore, and 11, Lewis Shepherd. And the Sunshine Coast Fire are coached by Paul Arneson. For Brisbane City, unfortunately, we haven't been given who their subs are. We just have a squad. But I can tell you that in goal today will be number 1, Matt Lugo, 2, Curran Ferns, 3, Luca Genasi, 4, Kai Smith, 5, Will Jordan, 7, Nathan Bird, 8, Matt Biggins, 9, Antonio Murray, 10, Alistair Passy, 11, Nick Buckley, 12, Jordan Loy, 13, Luke Leggett, 16, Bronson Coppin, 17, Jamie Saul, 19, Kor Satake, and the reserve goalkeeper will be number 20, Matt Stein. Referee for this game is Adam Kersey. The weather on the Sunshine Coast on this Sunday afternoon. Not a cloud in the sky, beautiful conditions. Might be a tad warm for the players. It's currently 29.1 degrees, feels a fraction hotter than that at 30.2, but there's a breeze that's cooling everyone down. It's coming off the ocean, just literally metres away from the stadium. As we get underway in this match, the hashtag, if you want to interact with us today on Twitter, is hashtag SUNVCTY. And of course, the official National Premier League's Queensland Twitter account is at NPLQLD. Sunshine Coast to have a throw in, just a shadow into their defensive territory here. Tim Hollingworth will be the player to take it. Number of players who have come to the Fire this year from the local Sunshine Coast Premier League. Tim Hollingworth lined up for the Noosa Lions last year. And another man on our screen there for Brisbane City, Antonio Murray, be a familiar name to most, the 2013 Golden Boot winner with 27 goals in that season. A brief cameo for Brisbane City towards the end of last year, but now makes his entrance for the Newmarket Bay side from the start of this season. Smith plays the ball across there for Leggett. Pressure coming in there from Takahashi. It's enough to put City off their efforts. Sunshine Coast, early doors, having the shade the better of the possession. But Brisbane City have it now. Nathan Bird in for Curran Ferns. He'll be another new name to some. Was very impressive in the recent BLK Silver Boot pre-season competition that's keenly contested between Brisbane-based sides. Curran Ferns comes to Brisbane City from the Devonport Strikers in the National Premier League's Tasmania. Quite an impressive pedigree for him too. He's been through the Melbourne Heart and Melbourne Victory youth systems, and here he is again. Ferns out the right wing there. just going to hold up in the breeze there. Ball's played in, cut out by Schultz. And Sunshine Coast once again have possession. Kelly calling for it on the right wing. And unfortunately on that occasion, Takahashi just unable to control his pass and drifts past Hollingworth and a fraction behind Kelly. With 3 minutes gone. And it's Sunshine Coast Fire 0, Brisbane City 0. Here's Nick Buckley. Ball in towards the back post. Nathan Bird is waiting there, has the ball cross the byline. It hasn't, says assistant Rachel Mitchinson. And Brisbane City will have a corner as a result of that attack deep in their territory. And it will be Bronson Coppin to come over and take this quarter for Brisbane City. Just Antonio Murray inside the 6-yard box. The rest of the City players drifting around the edge of the penalty box. Ferns look to play in Coppin. Cleared away there by the Fire. Will Jordan, another new acquisition at the Corporate Travel Management Stadium as it's been renamed this year. Will Jordan spent last year at the Western Pride. Free kick here to Brisbane City right on the halfway line that Coppin looks to take quickly. Ball intended for Antonio Murray on that occasion. Biggins wins it in the midfield. Reece Kelly, the Sunshine Coast captain, cuts out that pass. Reece Roberts. Here he is on the ball now. Another player to come in from the Sunshine Coast Premier League. A host of players coming from Caloundra, who ironically enough defeated Sunshine Coast Fire in what was a memorable FFA Cup clash, a Westfield FFA Cup clash last year here at Sunshine Coast Stadium, where Caloundra were victors over the Sunshine Coast Fire in a penalty shootout. Good tackle in there from Kai Smith. And Matt Lugo with the clearance sends it across the sideline just to make sure of it. Coming up to the 6-minute mark, Sunshine Coast Fire and Brisbane City still at 0-0. Roberts. Takahashi forced to chase on that occasion. Ball beats him across the sideline, acknowledges the efforts of his teammate. Throwing comes down the line, Murray. Gives away possession. Takahashi puts it straight into Genasi. Dale Hill forced to come deep out of his area to meet that ball. Now Grant the Chastel came through, was waiting there for it, but a critical header on there from Kai Smith. Kelly goes down. No whistle forthcoming from referee Kersey. And Lugo throws the ball out for Jordan. Last touch off Jordan, so Sunshine Coast Fire throw in here. Hollingworth with the throw in. Kelly in a battle with the ball, or for the ball there. And free kick conceded there against Nathan Bird. As I mentioned, Will Jordan at the Western Pride in previous versions of the PlayStation 4 National Premier Leagues Queensland. This is Leggett on for Murray. Ray Schultz with the defensive work, just shielding the ball there in front of Antonio Murray. And yet another Caloundra player from the Sunshine Coast Premier League last year is the fire custodian in Dale Hill. Has had a previous stint with the Sunshine Coast Fire. Back in 2012, was very unlucky, suffered a serious leg injury towards the end of the season. And that unfortunately meant that he missed out on the 2012 Grand Final win by the Fire in the old Queensland State League, what would ultimately prove to be the final season of the previous Queensland State League. Now we're into our third edition of the PlayStation 4 National Premier Leagues Queensland. 9 gone here at Sunshine Coast Stadium. Still deadlocked at 0-0 between Sunshine Coast Fire and Brisbane City. I mean, in the opening 10 minutes or so, Brisbane City have had the greater of possession. 60% of possession coming Brisbane City's way based on the stats we're referring to at the moment. Here's Curran Ferns. Already had 3 matches played in round 1 last night. Brisbane Strikers and Redlands. What was a very entertaining match indeed, 1-1 at half-time. The Strikers looked to have the winner in the 89th minute through defender Greg Hensley, but not to be. Redlands claiming a point and the draw with the first-minute injury time goal to Igor Say Jose. 2-2 between the Brisbane Strikers and Redlands last night. Southwest Queensland Thunder opened the scoring against Western Pride last night. Certainly took it to the Western Pride, but it was the Pride that eventually prevailed 5-2 in that match. And in the Northern Derby between the Far North Queensland Heat and the Northern Fury were able to come up with their first win against their northern cousins. An injury time penalty by Alex Smith for the Far North Queensland Heat. Not enough to get them back into the match, and the Fury came away 3-2 winners. Michael Eisenhut scoring a brace for Northern Fury last night in his return to the club after a stint in the Townsville Premier League in 2014. We have a free kick here to the Sunshine Coast Fire, being lined up by Kane Frew. 4 in the wall here for Brisbane City. Just the one distraction there for the Fire. Free kick comes low. Lugo able to spot it. And gets there in front of the Fire's advancing Ray Schultz. Said it's a lovely day here on the Sunshine Coast today. Not a cloud in the sky. Both sides just going through a feeling out period of each other in the first 12 minutes. It is 0-0 between Sunshine Coast Fire and Brisbane City. Here's Kenya Takahashi, searching ball forward. And neither side just able to quite get it right in that final third at the moment. Both coaches screaming out instructions to their charges at the moment. Glenn Volker back for his third season in charge of Brisbane City. But it's a new face on the Sunshine Coast Fire coaching staff this year in the head coach. I guess not a new face to Sunshine Coast supporters, but certainly as a senior coach, Paul Arneson, who was the captain of the Sunshine Coast Fire in recent years, now takes on the senior coaching duties after being the coach of the youth side. Good ball in there from Will Jordan for Murray. And referee Kersey has ruled a corner on this occasion. Probably the most promising attack so far from either side. Coppin with this corner for Brisbane City. In towards the back post. Just holds up in the breeze there momentarily. Looks like Murray adjudged to have fouled Ray Schultz on that occasion. He's in front of us. Brady Cronk just comes over to receive some instructions from his coach, Paul Arneson. Great win there from Ferns, and now Murray. Once again, he'll force deep out of his area. If you've been watching the PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland seasons past, you know what an attacking weapon that Antonio Murray can be, particularly in those situations where he can get into a one-on-one situation. Long-range shot here from Curran Ferns. Perhaps deciding that other routes of attack haven't paid off at the moment. So I'll try myself from long distance as we hit the quarter-hour mark. Sunshine Coast Fire and Brisbane City 0-0 at the Sunshine Coast Stadium. Mentioned those results from last night. Here's Takahashi here. Takahashi now inside the 6-yard box. Defensive work there from Janasi. The last-ditch tackle will deny the former Yokohama F. Marinos youth squad player playing in the Japanese system. The opportunity for the opening goal there for Sunshine Coast Fire. Reece Kelly signalling to his team. Now he's going to be taking this corner. Headed on, deflection. And Brady Cronk with the glancing header on goal has scored the Sunshine Coast Fire's first goal in the 16th minute.
Goal for Sunshine Coast Fire. Number 18, Bradley Cronk. Put your hands together.
The corner came in there from Reece Kelly. Brady Cronk was waiting for it near the edge of the 6-yard box, just glanced his header on. And it beats Brisbane City at the far post. And the Sunshine Coast Fire open up a 1-0 lead shortly after the quarter hour. So the obvious statement here is that might open up some of the attack here for Brisbane City. They might become a bit more attack-minded after conceding that goal now. Ferns on for Bird. Hollingworth, the man in front of him there, continues on his run. Bird squares it in. Murray was the obvious target. And Bird's been fouled there as he was trying to get that pass off. Tim Hollingworth questioning Kersey's decision. But Brisbane City to have a chance here from a very acute angle just outside the penalty box. Just the one player lining up the required 10 yards back here. Tried to be squeezed through there. Sunshine Coast defence able to deal with it. Ferns on for Biggins now. Quick 1-2 there between he and Nick Buckley. And Hill sends his clearance long. Kelly in front of Jordan there. Kelly will eventually come away the better of it. Plays it on for Cronk. Ferns heads on. Foul there by Reese Kelly. Announced as the Sunshine Coast Fire captain for 2015 after making the move down from the Northern Fury last year. So his second year